Good morning. It's Gerry coming to you from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. We're a life advancement center that uses sacred plant medicine and metaphysical teachings to create a soul merger, because we believe you were fragmented at a very young age, to merge that back and then to go through life as a merged self. We've had tremendous success. What do we have? Over 7,000 people through the doors, and about 95.12% of them state that they've had a life-changing miracle during their stay. And that's one aspect. The other aspect is 97.55% of those people 6 months later say that this was the week that changed their life. That's a huge statement. First thing, this is coronavirus update number 11. And what's interesting here is from the beginning, I was saying that it would be a 0.3% mortality rate. And and when I first said that 11 weeks ago, the WHO was, and everybody was on board with like a 10% mortality rate. So it turned out 4 days ago, the WHO came out and said it's a 0.26%. Apparently, the WHO doesn't have access to the same ayahuasca that I do. Very good, right? It'll be very interesting too this week to see what happens with coronavirus post all the public gatherings. It'll be very, very interesting. Last week too, I said that by this time next week, the looting and rioting will be over, and the looting and rioting is behind us. In my opinion, and we are 100% stand with George Floyd and his family and the sadness and the injustice that was there. And I believe that after this is over, we are all going to be better, stronger, more aligned, and more aware. And that'd be a great thing. And all of what's going on right now will be over soon enough. All of this will be over before you know it. So let's just talk about the racism aspect for a second. I had thought that I was a great example of being a progressive, of being non-racist, and I thought, why would that be? Well, in my business, 11% of our employees are gay or lesbian. 82% are minorities, and that looks all good. My girlfriend's Asian, and I thought, wow, I'm pretty cool. But what I did, instead of pointing fingers at other people, and I'm in Costa Rica, so there was not marches or anything, but instead of doing that, I looked in myself and I treated it like a journey. And what I found was sad, because I found where racism was existing within me. And then I spent this week removing that, or healing it, healing the parts of me that were racist. Now that is a really, really, really important aspect of this, of what's going on with everyone right now. Instead of pointing the finger at someone else, take the time and spend a journey with yourself in the deepest, darkest parts of your being. And I guarantee you that most of the people marching have not even done this. I guarantee you, because it's really, really hard. The marching is great, the protests are great, they raise our awareness, but awareness without self-reflection is fucking worthless. Awareness without self-reflection is worthless. Why? Because it otherizes racism. It points to someone else. Instead of it, and if it really is systemic, it's in all of us, right? Instead of finding it in ourselves and healing it, pointing to the other person is merely a waste of time. It's merely a waste of time. And I see a lot of things that are upsetting although it's divine and perfect, that I see things that are upsetting to me. I see so much hate and so much finger pointing and so much false sadness, so much fake shit going on, and that's really disgusting. So when you see someone who's truly being disingenuous about about what they're talking about, it turns your stomach. And those are the exact people that have not yet done the work. And I'm not pointing at them as the problem. I'm just trying to make people aware that in order for racism, anything, not just racism, can only be cured in you. It can't be cured outside of you. You can't cure that person. You can only cure you. You can only cure you. If there's something that we're realizing, if there's something that we're learning now, it's that this principle that the medicine showed us applies to all things, because there is nothing outside of us. There is nothing outside of us. And I'm going to ask people, do your best to be kind to each other. Do your best to not point the finger. How about this? What was it? Matthew 7:5, right? Thou hypocrite, remove the beam from thine own eye, so you can remove the speck from your brother's. So before we point the finger, I say everybody has the chance to point the finger. You want to point the finger? Point the finger. But point the finger after you've removed it in yourself. And I mean really removed it in yourself. Yeah, and all of the social injustice, all of the finger pointing that's going on, I just want to remind you of some things when you're doing this, right? We have such a responsibility to tell the truth, right? And we have such a responsibility to be compassionate for each other. I'll tell you what the medicine showed me. The medicine showed me that in death, we are judged by how much of a beneficial presence we were on this planet. We're judged by how much of a beneficial presence we were on this planet. And if you see someone who's more of a beneficial presence than you should pay homage. I don't mean that outwardly. It can be outward, but you should just notice it. And if you see someone who's being less of a beneficial presence on the planet than you, the medicine said to help them. Not to finger them, not to yell at them, not to make a fool of them, but to help them. So when I see things, I tell you, I just take notice of certain things. There's a woman on Facebook. I would never point a finger at her, or she would never know who I'm talking about. Probably doesn't even look at this stuff. But I looked at her page, and she was talking terribly about a man. And I got to tell you what, his name's Bernard Marcus, and he started Home Depot. He was born in 1929. He's a Jew. And he was born in a tenement house, in a tenement in the slums. And through his life, he managed to create this company. And what about the company? Well, the company employs 400,000 people, 400,000 families. And if the COVID taught us anything, it taught us the value of a job, how wonderful it is to be useful. So over 400,000 families, 86,000 of them are minorities. 86,000 minority families. Has 3 kids, been married for 40 years, and decided to give 90% of his wealth away, over 90% of his wealth away to charity. He'd sit down with his kids and his grandkids and tell them that he's given 90% of it away, and all over. He's giving it all over. I mean, this guy is the guy that built the aquarium in Atlanta. Like, he's just an amazing guy. Super interesting. He gave away $700 million before 2003. You talk about a beneficial presence on the planet. Talk about a beneficial presence on the planet, a life well lived. Any one of you who's ever tried to build a company knows what a challenge this is, right? And this woman was blacklisting him, canceling him, because he voted for Trump, and because a little tiny bit of his money went to the Trump campaign. Well, I got to tell you what. I mean, I don't know what her great achievements were, but this guy had a lot of them. So by pointing to people and calling people out and canceling people, that is not what the medicine has showed us. That's not what love does. Love doesn't do anything even close to that. Love helps, love nurtures, love looks with an honest eye. We got to be more true. We got to be more honest. We got to be more caring. We got to be more loving. When does that happen? When this happens. See, the people that are pointing the fingers and the people that are doing this and the people that is a sign of not being merged. And when you're not merged, you think everything is happening outside of you. You think everything is happening to you. You're in what Michael Beckwith calls victim consciousness. And once you get past that, you see that you are it, right? So we want people to be merged. We want people to be different. And when I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to tell you that all of this is going to go back to quasi-normal. What do I mean by that? I mean that 6 months from now, things are going to be the same. The only thing that's going to change is the things that we've changed within us. That is it. There's nothing else. The only thing that's going to change are the things that we changed within us. So I invite you this week to do your own homework, to sit with yourself, to see where you're racist, to see where you're finger pointing, to see where you're part of the problem. Do that work first. Do that work. Remove the plank from your own eye. Start with that. And we can make this world a better place. And all that we want, all Rythmia wants, is to have a world that's kinder, a world that's more fair, a world that's, what does the medicine want? One word, truth. Anybody who's done the medicine knows what the medicine wants. The medicine wants truth. The further that we get away from truth as a person and as a people, the more problems we're inviting in. So please, please, please return to truth. Last week, I reached out to Martin Luther King III, and I asked him for some inspiration. You know, we spent a week together at one time, and he's an amazing, amazing, amazing human, right? And I wish I had more interaction with him the week I spent with him. But anyway, I reached out to him and I said, please give me something that I can tell people. And he gave me the most beautiful thing. Like, this is it. And I'll tell you what he said. If love has not yet won, then the battle is not yet over. Wow. If love has not yet won, then the battle is not yet over. Fuck, please. Let that sink in. And then he said, pray for change, work for change, and be the change. Pray for change, work for change, and be the change. Wow, man, is that good stuff. I'm in love with that. And the one that I like the most, if love has not yet won, then the battle is not yet over. Wow, geez. So look at what's happening in the world and see when there's a victor and a loser, see if love won. See if that's what love looks like. And if it doesn't look like love, it's not. Love has one face. If it doesn't look like love, it's not. So let's make love win together. And I got to tell you something. It was a very heavy week for me. A very heavy week for me. Thankfully, I've done stem cells this week and I'm very cranked up. Stem cells are great shit. But it was a very, very, very heavy week for me, and I did medicine, and it was a wild time. But I want to tell you what I got out of it. After the personal struggle, after finding the racism in me, after committing to get those things normalized and healed in me, the medicine showed me that not once is God not with us during these times. We feel alone. We feel like she turned her back on us, but it's not true at all. In our most loneliness, in our most alone, she's there, ever present in that moment, more than ever. So please don't think, and I have to tell you, in the end, love will win. Love is winning. It looks all cranked up, but love is winning. The other part, she showed me it's happening exactly like it should. Exactly like it should. And if we respond in kind, which means if we do the work within ourselves, then as a country, as a planet, we're going to come out of this thing stronger, better, kinder, fairer, and more aware. That's the truth. So just stay with it. We're almost through it. The cleansing is almost over. And do your best to stay in kindness and in love. And when you look at someone else and you want to point a finger at them, try to see where they've been a beneficial presence on the planet and try to see where you haven't been one. Do that for me this week. And I love you guys. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. And I will talk to you next week. And next week, I feel strongly this week is turning the corner. And next week, we're going to look at it different. And I can't wait to see you next week. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.